Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right in a relationship, yet something still felt slightly off? The conversations were there. The effort was there. The interest seemed mutual. Yet deep down, you sensed a quiet distance that words could not explain. Here is a psychological truth most people never talk about. Relationships are rarely affected by what is loudly expressed. They are shaped by what is silently felt. Many men believe clarity comes from direct words. Many women experience emotions through patterns, tone, and emotional safety before words ever appear. And this difference creates confusion, not because anyone is trying to hide something, but because emotional language is rarely taught. What if the moments that left you confused were not failures, but signals you did not yet know how to read? Today, you are about to learn something powerful. Not tricks, not manipulation, not mind games. You are about to learn 10 psychological secrets women rarely say directly, yet express every day through behavior, energy, and emotional responses. These insights come from psychology, emotional intelligence, and real human experience. As you listen, you may recognize moments from your own life. The pauses that felt heavy, the warmth that suddenly cooled, the connection that felt close, then distant, without explanation. Stay with me until the end of this series, because one of these secrets explains why effort alone does not create closeness, but emotional understanding does. And once you see it, relationships stop feeling confusing and start feeling intentional. Now, let me be clear about one important thing. This video is not about blaming women. It is not about placing men and women on opposite sides. It is about awareness. When you understand emotional psychology, you stop reacting from frustration and start responding from clarity. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is a space where we explore the psychology of human behavior, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness, especially in relationships. My name is Emmanuel, and everything shared here is designed to help you understand people better, including yourself. No exaggerated claims. No harsh language. No unhealthy advice. Only psychology-based insights explained in a calm, respectful, and practical way. Today's topic is rooted in well-studied psychological principles such as emotional safety, attachment styles, perception, and communication patterns. These principles shape how people connect, withdraw, trust, and open up. And here is what makes this important for you. When emotional signals go unnoticed, relationships slowly weaken. When they are understood, connection deepens naturally. By the end of this full video, you will not just know what these psychological secrets are. You will understand why they exist. You will see how they show up in real life. And most importantly, you will learn how to respond in a way that builds respect, trust, and emotional closeness. This is not about changing who you are. It is about seeing clearly. Take a breath. Listen with curiosity. And let us begin. Imagine this scenario. You meet someone, and the connection feels easy at first. Conversations flow naturally. Laughter comes without effort. There is a sense of mutual interest that feels calm, not forced. You show up consistently. You reply. You make time. You pay attention. From your perspective, everything seems stable. Then, slowly, something shifts. Messages become shorter. The energy feels different. The warmth that once felt natural now feels measured. Nothing dramatic happens. No argument. No clear conflict. Just a quiet change you cannot fully explain. You start replaying conversations in your mind. Did I say something wrong? Did I miss something important? Psychology shows that many emotional changes do not begin with conflict. They begin with unspoken feelings. For many women, emotions are processed internally before they are ever shared outwardly. This means the emotional shift you notice may be the result of thoughts and feelings that have been building quietly over time. Not because she expected you to read her mind, but because previous experiences may have taught her that explaining feelings can sometimes lead to being misunderstood or dismissed. So instead of explaining everything, emotions begin to show through behavior. A pause where there used to be excitement. A delay where there used to be eagerness. A softer tone where there used to be warmth. From the outside, it feels sudden. From the inside, it feels gradual. This is where misunderstanding often begins. You may respond by increasing effort, talking more, or seeking reassurance. She may respond by pulling back slightly, not to create distance, but to protect emotional balance. Neither response is wrong. Both are human. The problem is not intention. The problem is interpretation. Psychologically, when emotional signals are not recognized, both people can feel unseen. One feels unappreciated, the other feels confused. And without awareness, this quiet gap can grow. Here is the important part. This pattern does not mean lack of interest. It often means a need for emotional understanding. When emotional safety feels uncertain, people naturally create space to think and reflect. This is not rejection, it is regulation. And this is why understanding psychological patterns matters more than guessing motives. When you learn to recognize these shifts without panic or pressure, you respond differently. You become calmer, more present, more emotionally grounded. And that alone changes the dynamic. Because emotions respond to stability. Secret 1. Emotional safety matters more than constant attention. Many people believe that frequent communication is the foundation of closeness. Psychology shows something deeper. Emotional safety comes before emotional attachment. Emotional safety means feeling respected, heard, and free to express thoughts without fear of being judged or dismissed. For many women, attention without safety can feel overwhelming rather than comforting. This is why someone can talk often, yet still feel distant. It is not about how many messages are sent. It is about how responses are received. When emotions are met with patience instead of pressure, trust forms naturally. When emotional expressions are respected, closeness grows. Secret number 2 builds directly on this. Secret 2. Listening is often more powerful than fixing. When someone shares a concern or emotion, the natural response is often to offer solutions. Psychologically, however, emotional sharing is usually a request for understanding, not correction. Being listened to activates a sense of validation. Validation calms the emotional system. This does not mean solutions are never needed. It means timing matters. When emotions are first acknowledged, clarity follows. When emotions are rushed, distance grows. Listening without interrupting. Reflecting without minimizing. Responding without rushing to fix. These behaviors communicate emotional presence. And emotional presence creates connection. Now let us move to the third secret. Secret 3. Consistency creates trust faster than intensity. Big gestures feel memorable. Grand moments feel exciting. But psychology shows that trust is built through predictable behavior. Consistency reduces emotional uncertainty. When actions match words over time, the mind relaxes. For many women, emotional trust grows when behavior feels steady, not sporadic. Intensity without consistency can feel unstable. Consistency without drama feels safe. This is why small, reliable actions often mean more than occasional big ones. Being emotionally steady, following through, showing up in the same way, even when emotions fluctuate. This stability allows connection to deepen without fear. Here is the key takeaway from these first 3 secrets. Closeness is not created by effort alone. It is created by emotional understanding, patience, and reliability. When you prioritize emotional safety, listen with presence, and act consistently, relationships begin to feel lighter and more natural. Secret 4. Your calm presence influences her emotional state. Emotions are deeply contagious. Psychology shows that people naturally mirror the emotional energy around them. When you respond with calmness, even during uncertainty, it creates emotional stability. Calm presence does not mean being distant or indifferent. It means staying grounded rather than reactive. When emotions are met with steady energy, tension softens. For many women, emotional safety grows when reactions feel predictable and composed. Calm responses communicate maturity. They signal reliability. And reliability builds trust. Now let us look at the 5th secret. Secret 5. Feeling chosen is different from being pursued. Pursuit is driven by action. Feeling chosen is driven by intention. Psychologically, feeling chosen means knowing that attention is deliberate, not pressured or impulsive. When interest feels intentional, it creates emotional reassurance. When it feels forced, it creates emotional resistance. This is why balanced interest often feels more attractive than constant pursuit. Presence without pressure, interest without urgency. These signals communicate confidence and emotional awareness. Now to the 6th secret. Secret 6. Small changes are noticed more than you think. Psychology shows that emotional awareness heightens sensitivity to subtle behavior. tone shifts, timing changes, energy variations. These details are often noticed even when they are not mentioned. This is not about overanalyzing. It is about emotional attunement. When someone feels emotionally connected, small changes matter. Being mindful of consistency in tone and attention communicates care. Now the seventh secret. Secret 7. Respect for boundaries increases attraction. Boundaries are often misunderstood. Psychologically, boundaries signal self-respect and emotional stability. When boundaries are respected, trust grows. When they are ignored, emotional safety decreases. Respecting space does not weaken connection. It strengthens it. It allows emotions to settle and clarity to return. Healthy boundaries communicate confidence, and confidence creates attraction. Here is what these secrets reveal together. Connection deepens when emotional awareness replaces emotional urgency. Calm presence, intentional interest, attention to subtle cues, respect for boundaries. These are not strategies. They are expressions of emotional intelligence. Let us complete the list. Secret 8. Emotional availability outweighs perfection. Many people believe they need to say or do everything right to be valued. Psychology shows that emotional availability matters more than flawless behavior. Emotional availability means being open, present, and responsive without pretending to be perfect. It means allowing space for real conversations, including moments of uncertainty. When someone feels emotionally available, connection feels natural. Perfection can feel distant. Authenticity feels safe. Now the ninth secret. Secret 9. Being understood feels safer than being admired. Admiration feels good, but understanding builds trust. Psychologically, feeling understood activates emotional security. When someone senses that their emotions are recognized and accepted, they relax. This is why mirroring feelings matters. Simple acknowledgments like noticing emotions or reflecting tone communicate empathy. Understanding creates depth. Admiration creates distance if it lacks connection. Now the final secret. Secret 10. Silence often means reflection, not disinterest. Silence is often misinterpreted. Psychology shows that many people use quiet moments to process emotions. Silence can be a form of regulation. It allows thoughts to settle and clarity to form. This does not mean withdrawal or rejection. It often means reflection. Responding to silence with patience rather than pressure creates emotional safety. And emotional safety invites openness. Here is the deeper insight behind these final secrets. Connection grows when emotional presence replaces performance. When authenticity replaces perfection. When patience replaces assumptions. Understanding these patterns allows relationships to breathe. Now that you understand these psychological patterns, let us talk about how to apply them in everyday life. The first takeaway is to slow your emotional responses. When something feels unclear, pause before reacting. Calm responses create emotional safety and prevent misunderstandings. The second takeaway is to listen with curiosity, not urgency. Instead of focusing on what to say next, focus on what is being felt. Ask yourself, what emotion is being expressed here? This shift alone changes how conversations unfold. The third takeaway is to prioritize consistency over intensity. Show up in steady, predictable ways. Small, reliable actions communicate trust more than occasional big gestures. The fourth takeaway is to respect space without assuming distance. Space is often used to process emotions, not to push people away. Allowing space shows confidence and emotional maturity. The fifth takeaway is to express presence, not pressure. Interest should feel natural, not forced. Let connection develop at a comfortable pace. Here is the most important lesson. You do not need to change who you are to build better connections. You need to become more emotionally aware. Emotional awareness allows you to respond instead of react. It creates clarity where there was confusion, and it transforms relationships from effort-driven to understanding-driven. When you are ready, say, here is the deeper truth behind everything we have discussed. Women are not silent because they want you to struggle. They are quiet because emotions are complex and vulnerability requires safety. When you respond with calm awareness, patience, and understanding, relationships naturally shift. You stop chasing clarity. Clarity begins to meet you. You stop guessing intentions. Understanding becomes intuitive. Connection is not about decoding secrets. It is about creating an environment where nothing needs to be hidden. Calm presence, emotional availability, consistency, and respect for boundaries allow relationships to breathe. They turn confusion into clarity, uncertainty into trust, and effort into natural closeness. Now, let us bring it full circle. The 10 psychological secrets we explored are not rules to follow. They are patterns to recognize. They are emotional truths that, once understood, give you the power to respond rather than react. By practicing awareness, listening deeply, and acting consistently, you create emotional safety for both yourself and your partner. And when emotional safety exists, connection flourishes effortlessly. If this video resonated with you, here is what you can do next. Take a moment to like this video. It helps this content reach more people who need clarity in their relationships. Subscribe to the channel for more weekly insights on emotional intelligence, human behavior, and self-awareness. You will discover practical, psychology-based strategies that strengthen your connections with others. Finally, share your thoughts in the comments. What insight stood out to you the most today? Your experience may inspire someone else to see their relationships in a new light. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Remember, relationships are not about control or guessing. They are about understanding, patience, and emotional presence. And as you carry these insights forward, you will notice your connections becoming calmer, more intentional, and more fulfilling.